Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, enjoy your Sunday. What's my schedule? Well, today I will go back to real football and I can't wait. Union Saint-Gilloise against Club Bruges. No, I will not be able to watch Jashari, that is probably out of the team at the moment because he's in talk with Milan, but I can't wait to watch real football instead of nonsense calcio mercato, because we know it, Mercato for Juventus is totally blocked, and that's what we'll speak about in today's video. So if you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Why didn't I record yesterday? Well, for a simple reason, because Mercato is blocked, and just to record, to repeat you extremely the same things as the day before, and the day before, and the day before, when they are absolutely not updated, I had absolutely not the strength to do that. I hope you appreciate it, not just farming videos just for the sake of farming videos, but it's true that we have a bit of updates today. Juventus at the moment is blocked in entry and in exit Mercato. That's the title of today's Tutto Sport page, with Vlahovic blocca il Mercato. Vlahovic is blocking the Mercato of Juve. I would say not only Vlahovic, even if he is an important piece of that puzzle in exit strategy, and pay attention for the names like Kolo Muani. It's true that yesterday I didn't record. What happened in the meanwhile? Well, nothing, because Juventus at the moment, and I understand the frustration of all the Juventini, is not really active, or at least we are not able to see that Juventus is active. Maybe they are with Damien Comolli and with now François Modesto, with Giorgio Chiellini behind the scenes, but we are not able to see it, because at the moment the only thing that we saw, it's not even Chico Conceição, it is Jonathan David, the only new player, and this actually puts us in the ranking of the Serie A teams, actually not at the lowest position, because the lowest one is Lazio, but we know why Lazio is not buying any player, because by law they are punished, they cannot do entry Mercato. But except of that, we have a few teams with only one new signings: Cagliari, Parma, Roma, Sassuolo, and Juventus. And then you see the team that at the moment had the most new players is Napoli, with 6 players, followed by Como, that is super active on the Mercato, followed by Bologna, Fiorentina, Pisa with 4. The last one that arrived, presented yesterday, is Bernardeschi, that received the number 10 at Bologna. And then you see a lot of teams with 3 new signings, like Atalanta, like Milan, like Inter, etc, etc. So are we behind? Absolutely yes, knowing that we start the Ritiro on the 24th, which means on Thursday. And it looks like we will have exactly the same team as 24-25, except of Renato Vega. There is an update about him in a second. And with the addition of a few players that came back, like Rugani, Kostic, and the only new signing, that is Jonathan David. Yes, it's true. We are late, and the problem in being late and being blocked is that the few players that we were interested in are leaving. Yesterday we heard about that here we go for Marcus Rashford. As I told you 2 days ago when we recorded the video, no, I never believed in Marcus Rashford. Never on earth I believed in that. I don't know why Gazzetta dello Sport put that name in, maybe to frustrate even more the fans in starting to believe that something could happen there. No, Marcus Rashford to Juve, I never really believed in it for cost a lot of money in terms of salary. He had more or less the same salary that Dusan Vlahovic will earn. It's a player that is a huge big bet as well if you are looking at these seasons at Manchester United, and what he did at Aston Villa was better, much better, no, but not really to earn the same salary that Dusan Vlahovic is earning at Juve, when we know that Juventus is blocked and is in huge difficulty because of that salary that is 24 million euro gross. So Marcus Rashford, I never believed in it, and here we go to Barcelona, has been communicated yesterday. Am I sad about it? Absolutely not. What I'm absolutely sad about is the other here we go that we heard on Friday as well, I believe. It is the name of Hansko. Hansko, that according to me was the ideal player to reinforce our defense. I was already dreaming about a defense made of Bremer in the middle, Hansko on the left side, and on the right side one between Gatti or Kalulu, that could have given a lot of stability, but also a lot of skills that we are missing at the moment. For example, extremely good in tackles, extremely good in headers. Well, he's a player that is gone from the market, because here we go to Al Nasser. So you will tell me, Beppe, why couldn't Juventus go for a player like him? Was it not a priority to fix the defense? Well, I told you yes. Unfortunately, he goes for 33 million euro with Al Nasser, that had absolutely no time to chill, no time to lose, no time to joke. They go with, how much do you want? 30 million euro? here, 33 million euro without any problem, which Juventus at the moment is not able to do. And if we continue like that, well, we start losing also objectives that are there in the list of Juve since really long time. One of the problems, like Tuttosport was telling us, is Dusan Vlahovic, Gelo Vlahovic, ice Vlahovic situation that is actually extremely distant from the Juve world at the moment, not only from the club, because the club we know it, even if he will start and resume back the training session with all the team, he will not be in that Juve 2 that is training isolated because they are clearly on the market. He will be part of the team as long as he doesn't find the team. But it's true that there is really big gelo, big eyes between club and them, not only the club but also the supporters that can't wait to see only one thing happening: Dusan Vlahovic leaving the club. Where, well, this is not that much the problem of the supporters, as long as he's leaving as soon as possible, because we need to really start now our Mercato that is blocked partially by Dusan Vlahovic. And one of the consequences of him not leaving the club and blocking Juve is the fact that Juventus could possibly risk to see some players that we were on not being targets of Juve anymore, like for example Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani, area di Premier. Kolo Muani, his priority is to go back to Juve because he felt extremely well there, appreciated by fans, appreciated by first Thiago Motta and then by Igor Tudor, that gave him his chance as a starter at the end of the season, but also at the Club World Cup, and would see him also an extremely important player with Jonathan David, without Jonathan David in that starting 11 of Juve. But we know it, Paris Saint-Germain is keeping strong. They want money after the loan of 6 months. They want the money as soon as possible. And if there are no competitors, it would be easier for Juve to ask a loan again. But the problem is that there are competition. I told you about Chelsea, where I said, Chelsea, I don't know if they really need the player. Well, Manchester United, that is really looking for a player after losing Gyökeres, after losing a lot of their prime targets. Well, they could possibly go for Kolo Muani, and we know that English clubs, Premier League clubs, they have absolutely no problem for money. So Kolo Muani waiting for Juve, yes, but how long can he wait? And Juventus is already thinking about a plan B. Before reaching plan B, Juventus will continue to insist with Damien Comolli for the relationship that he has already with the French club. He will continue to insist of finding a solution for Kolo, but it will not be that easy. And if we are not able to accelerate on the transfer market, well, he could possibly accept another club to actually play, because in the plans of Luis Enrique is absolutely out of it. And that's why Juventus is already thinking about other plans. Rashford was never a name, but Hojlund could be a name. Hojlund that was already observed weeks ago, months ago, where we said it here on the channel. Please no. What could be attractive for Hojlund to Juve? Well, it's absolutely the formula of a loan with an option to buy that could potentially put Juventus in saying, okay, we don't have a lot of money to spend on the market now. We cannot go with 50 million for a striker. So if Jonathan David is our starter, Hojlund, with the promises that he actually showed when he was at Atalanta, still a young player, could be a beautiful alternative to relaunch his career in Italy. Do I believe that this is a great choice? No. Do I believe that Juventus wants to go for the player now, today, on the 20th of July? No. But this is an alternative that we still need to pay attention for. A lot of Italian clubs were on a player like Inter, like Milan, Juve as well. Juve was a bit behind because they wanted to go for Kolo Muani, but the name of Hojlund is still there because the talks with Manchester United are still active, because they are also on Douglas Luiz. What can possibly unlock the Mercato at 4 days of the restart of the Raduno of Juventus training together? Well, it could be Weah, the first one that could potentially leave Juve. We know that there are talks since 2 weeks now with l'Olympique de Marseille. Tomorrow could be the day. 15 million is what Juventus is actually putting for the name of Weah. It's also what Marseille is wanting to pay to Juve. They are still discussing about the formula, or an obligation to buy, or immediately, but then in a few years. So let's monitor that. But this week could really be the week that Weah is leaving. Not only Weah, because there is a real strong interest from a Greek club, Olympiacos, on the Serbian, not number 9, but the Serbian ex-number 11 of Juve, Filip Kostic. 4-5 million for Juve. The player already agreed on. Let's see if Juventus will be able to find an agreement with him. If the player will not change opinion, because that would already be 2 players that are leaving on top of Bangula. Bangula, Werder Bremer, we are closer and closer and closer. Now they are speaking about the 12 million euro, including bonuses for the Belgian player. It's much better than what we were initially talking when we said that he could go to Nottingham Forest for 8 million euro. 12 million is 50% more. Could we have gone much more than that? If we are speaking about a player that, according to me, overperformed, probably yes, for his first season at Juve, scoring goals in Champions League, in Serie A, etc., for what he already showed, for the young age. On the other side, I don't think we could have gone much more than that if we're speaking about the situation of the player that was clearly on the market and that we made public that we were about to accept 8 million for him. So that's why I'm telling you, it's better than actually what I expected, but it's far from what I wanted for the player. It could also be finally the official news that Conceição is a Juve player in the beginning of this week, so that on Thursday we see the number 7 starting immediately with the rest of the group. We are waiting. We are waiting. Should have already been official a few days ago, but it didn't happen, and we know it. Weah going out, Bangula going out, maybe Kostic, maybe a few other players. We have some priority there. It could finally unlock a player that we are speaking about since a few weeks, and we are speaking about Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho that apparently found a total agreement with Juve. Even Juve and Manchester United found an agreement, but Juventus is waiting, even if it's their priority that the first player is leaving without taking any risk, because Mercato is totally crazy. You never know. Like, for example, Loriente from Sassuolo that went in England for the medical test with Sunderland, and at the end, the two clubs, at the end, they didn't find an agreement, so he's back in Italy. So you never know in life, and that's why Juventus, Damian Comoli, are extremely cautious. First, we have some players that are leaving officially, and then we can activate and accelerate on players that are entering Juve. Could it be the week of Sancho? It could be, but it depends on the other ones. And then a name that was a rumor that was offered to Juve without an official interest at the moment of Juve. It was Vasquez, that now apparently more papers are saying it's not only that he has been offered, but Juventus takes it into consideration without saying yes, but they are taking into consideration to go for Lucas Vasquez, ex-Real Madrid player. Vega, there were some talks about Vega, but more from fans than from the clubs, because we know it. Chelsea still wants 40 million euro with Atletico Madrid and also Bayern Munich that are interested on the player, while Juventus for 40 million euro, they cannot go. Otherwise, they would have gone for Hansko. Bremer, and that's the last news, but probably a beautiful news, will actually be the first one to start to resume training session officially. We officially start on Thursday. He will anticipate in tomorrow. So tomorrow, the first player that we will be able to see starting the training session at La Continassa will be Gleison Bremer, that I told you and that I tell you we really need, because he is one of the pioneers of that new Juve 25-26, will give a big help to Igor Tudor, that at the moment is not that much happy, because he was expecting Juventus to accelerate a bit more. So if you enjoyed it, please put a maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I wish you an amazing, beautiful Sunday. Grazie, forza, Juve.